Hello and welcome to How to Get a Divorce. How to Get a Divorce is a production of Collaborative Divorce Solutions, a nonprofit organization in Orange County, California, which is dedicated to educating the public about out-of-court options to traditional divorce, processes like collaborative divorce and mediation. I'm Leslie Newman. I'm a family law attorney in Orange County, California, and I'd like you to meet 3 other women who are with us, who are also family law attorneys with Collaborative Divorce Solutions. And they are Terry Breer.
Hello.
Helen Rasner.
Hello.
Jennifer Webb. Welcome to How to Get a Divorce.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you.
Helen, we're going to start with you. And I know that you've been practicing family law for a long time.
Yes.
When you first started to practice, did you go to court?
Yes, that was my traditional practice, was going to court. I've had a family law practice for over 30 years, and the traditional method of divorce was litigation, where I represented one of the parties. And I did that for many, many years.
Did there come a time when you decided to transition your practice away from traditional divorce more into a peacemaking practice?
Yes, absolutely. Over the years, I found that the method of divorcing for couples was not conducive for the family. The judges would make a decision, no one was ever happy, and it didn't really help the parties. So I did transition into first mediation, and now mediation and collaborative divorce.
Helen, was there a particular case that encouraged you to do that?
Well, the one I remember the most that kind of was a tipping point for me was a case where there was 3 little boys, and both parties, it was a contested custody matter. However, it was a little bit different in that they weren't fighting with each other as to who would take the boys, but who would not take the boys. And what happened at the end was the wife gave up every piece of property in order for her husband to take the boys.
I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
It was tragic. It was truly tragic.
Wow. Terry Breer.
Yes.
You've been practicing a long time, too, in the family law area. Is that correct?
Yes, I have, for over 20 years.
Well, like Helen, when you first started to practice, were you practicing family law? Were you practicing something else? Did you go to court a lot?
Well, I started out my practice as a business and real estate litigation attorney. So when I expanded my practice to include family law, I just never questioned it. I was going to be a litigator in the family law arena. And back in the mid-'80s, when I started doing family law, there really there weren't too many other methods available at that time. So litigation was really the only method that was available.
Did there come a time for you as well when you decided to take your practice more out of court?
Yes, absolutely. Over the years of practicing in the litigation fashion, I learned that it was very expensive, it was very highly stressful for my clients, and that the better way to go about the divorce process, in my mind, was when we would settle the case, and when I would have a counsel on the other side that was cooperative with me, and we would use a decision-making process, and the clients would make their own decisions. And that seemed to be very cost-effective, and it reduced the conflict, and I think we made our decisions were wiser in those cases.
Jennifer Webb, I know that you have a dual practice, or are starting a dual practice. You're not only a certified family law specialist in Orange County, but you've been working for some time to transition also into the mental health area. Is that correct?
About 10 years, Leslie. I realized the other day it's been about 10 years since I started graduate school to become a therapist.
So is it true that you have 2 licenses? One
It is
in
true.
law and a second one in the mental health field?
That's true, Leslie. And like Terry and Helen, I really started practicing family law with the hope of becoming part of the solution for families to help. And as I was in the court system, what I found is I thought I was becoming more part of the problem than the solution. And that's what led me out of law into the mental health field. Interestingly enough, though, right at the time that I was doing my internship to become a therapist, collaborative divorce, the new process came into being, and it was so revolutionary and so transformative that I found that I could still practice family law and still help people.
Let's talk about collaborative divorce. I'm glad that you brought that up, Jennifer. Helen, do you want to talk a little bit about collaborative divorce? Because I know that you're a practitioner, you've transitioned, and that a large part of your practice is devoted to collaborative divorce. What is collaborative divorce?
Yes, Leslie, my practice is mainly collaborative divorce and mediation. The collaborative process is a healthy, non-adversarial, peaceful method for the parties to obtain their divorce. The parties pledge not to go to court. They pledge to come to an agreement with the help of various team members. So that is a client-centered process.
Terry, what about the team and putting the team together? Who are the different people on the team?
Well, what's so nice about the collaborative process is that it recognizes that divorce is more than just a legal matter. There's emotions that are involved, finances, parenting, there's social impacts to getting a divorce. And what the collaborative team does is it creates a multidisciplinary team so that you have professionals who are trained in those various areas that can really assess and meet the needs of the clients much better than solely focusing on their legal needs. When you have somebody like Jennifer, who's got an MFT and is trained in working with the mental health issues that arise in a divorce, you're much more effective in problem solving and in helping the family really create some positive change through the divorce process.
Jennifer, can you help us meet the team? I know that now that you can play two roles, that of the family law attorney and also the coach, the mental health professional on the team. Is that correct? Tell us about who's on the team in the collaborative process.
Okay, well, we have a full team of people, including an attorney that represents either party. They may have a divorce coach, which is a mental health professional to help them through the emotional issues involved in the divorce. There's two neutral people, and that would be a financial person that helps them with all the financial decisions. And then there's a child specialist, and that probably would be the most important person who would help them with a parenting plan and any issues that are coming up with the children.
Why do you think the child specialist would be the most important person?
I think that the traditional process of getting a divorce really impacts the children tremendously. And the collaborative divorce process allows both the children to have a voice and to provide an education to the parents about what the effects of divorce might be on their children.
And I did just want to add also that the other two members on the team are the divorce coaches. So that you have, in addition to the two neutrals, you also have two additional advocates, so who, like the collaborative attorneys, will represent one party or the other. And they are usually marriage and family therapists. They might be social workers, but they're individuals that actually coach the parties through the divorce process and help them deal with the emotional issues that arise.
Helen, having made that transition in your practice from advocate to peacemaker, would you ever turn back?
No, I don't think I could. I think that once you have been trained both in mediation and in collaborative, and then done it for a while and been out of the gladiator arena, you look at the divorce in a different way. You no longer look at it as something to be won, but you look at it as here's a couple who is going through a very trying time with children, without children, and you are there to help them through that process legally, but in a different way than through the court system.
I want to thank you so much for being on the first segment today of this program, From Advocate to Peacemaker. Thank you, Terry Breer.
Thank you,
Helen
Leslie.
Rasner, Jennifer Webb, for sharing your stories with us and for telling us about the collaborative process and the collaborative team. For those who would like to know more about collaborative divorce, you can find out on our website for Collaborative Divorce Solutions, a nonprofit organization. That website is cdsoc.com. You can also find out if you're in a different place in the state or the area by visiting the cpcal.org or .com, cpcal.org website.